everyone. Welcome in. I wanted to jump on here really quick and re-record our session from last night. I had a little bit of trouble going live, dual streaming in both of the groups. I went live last night on Instagram. As promised, I wanted to be there with all the questions I've been getting asked around my own weight loss journey and the things that I've been doing as people have been following me. I wanted to make sure that I shared with them some recent transparent news so that they really could take a look at and discover where the hidden, weight gain might be coming from. So I'm now popping in to just re-record this for you, and I want to be brief with your time, about 15 minutes, and give you a little bit of insight to the energetics of weight gain, being an entrepreneur, right? Running your own business, the amount of stress that sometimes you can be under, especially over the last year. And some people have lost their jobs, some people are innovating, some people are moving on to new careers. And during the pandemic, I think I saw a lot of people talk about the pandemic weight gain, or COVID weight gain. And I saw some people really thrive underneath the pressure of COVID and find new ways to innovate, get back into shape, and also find new ways to expand their business. And so what I want you to know first and foremost is your weight gain is not always about the current situation that you're in. And it's not always about because you're eating too much. So there are many causes of weight gain. And I'm gonna just kind of name a few so you understand. Weight gain can be for an overconsumption of food. That can be one reason why. And sometimes when we're drawn to, especially being women who run businesses, have husbands, have families, sometimes when things aren't going always the way that we want them to, sometimes some of us will eat our feelings, right? Or we need a little more sweetness in our life. So this can be an indication actually that there's something off within inside of your pancreas, okay? So again, it's not always because of weight gain, but that would be one of those reasons, again, is that you want to take a look at the pancreas. Another area of weight gain could possibly be around the heart and having a heart wall or having trauma. Again, going through things you have, even ever again this last year, take a look at if you've had unexpected weight gain and you haven't changed anything, there could be things off within inside of the heart, right, and heart wall. Thyroid issues are a big thing, right? We know that. Your liver is another reason why you might be gaining weight. Your digestive system might be needing some support. Your lymphatic system, okay? This is why when you see all these women promoting, dry brushing and lymphatic drainage, this is so important to the body. This supports all major organs in flushing out and detoxifying toxins that are inside of our body because of many factors, such as the makeup that we wear, the food that we're eating and how it's processed. We might be eating an over-processed chemicals in our food, how it's packaged, our environment we live in. We have off-gassing from different areas such as your couch and the way that your products are made, your carpet, your home paint, off-gassing chemicals inside of your home environment. Your environment, as far as who is in your environment, people around you, they can cause stress to the body for your lymphatic system. An over excess of alcohol, and then an over excess again of, just toxins in many different things. So cleaning supplies is another area you want to think about. This causes a very heavy burden. These things cause a really heavy burden to the organs, and all of these chemicals can get stored into vital organs such as the thyroid, the liver, the digestive tract, the lymphatic system, even the reproductive system, and that can cause an overrun of toxicity in the body. And what happens is you end up gaining weight, or you hold on to stubborn weight because that weight is there to protect you. So not all weight is bad, okay? When your body is signaling to you through weight gain, there are things that we need to take a look at deeper than just, oh crap, I put on a couple of pounds, or oh no. Your body is talking to you and it's asking you to address your lifestyle and make some changes. So my particular weight gain, I know now because I worked through my health issues. It's been over a year. And in fact, it's a year in January. I'm like, congratulations to myself. It's been a year since I actually had my breast implants taken out. It was this month, a year ago. I didn't even dawn on me because I'm not supposed to see my doctor till May. But I'm like, oh, yeah, it's been a year. So 1 year ago, I was actually going in to get my breast implants out. And that was one of the areas, it'd been 10 years, and it was one of the areas that I thought was an area that might be causing the health issues I was facing. So 6 months prior to that, if you've been following me and you don't know the full story, I actually had sudden weight gain. I went from 138 to 151 in a matter of a month. And that was dramatic weight gain. And unfortunately, it didn't make sense because I was eating a kind of like a restricted diet. I was eating, I had a trainer at the time that was writing my meal plans, and I was working out. But at that time, I was under a lot of stress. And my body had been under a lot of stress for a while, emotionally, and also toxin levels in my body. I had built up a level of toxin and toxicity in my body that my body went into an inflamed state. And what happened is the weight gain came on as a protection of all the toxins that were inside my body. So again, fast forward, I took my breast implants out, and then I started working, and this is a year ago, so in 2020. And by June, I was really challenged. I was still kind of frustrated, and I was starting to work out again and trying to figure out, how to make this change, how to figure out what was going on. And I was changing my diet. I started energy working in June, and I hired my own coach, my energy healing coach, again, to get out of my own ego around this weight issue. And we started working in June. And man, when I look back at that time, there's a few lessons learned. She was pulling so much around my organs. She was pulling through muscle testing. We found that a lot of my organs were overtaxed. I had a lot of extra cortisol inside of my body. So what happened is, with the toxicity, I gained the weight. Then I went into a flight or fight state for myself because it was so traumatic for me. It was real unexplained. 15 pounds just like that didn't make sense, especially with how vigilant I was being in working with a trainer. So you can understand there might have been some crazy stress there. And for me, I've always been really fit in my life. So for me, it really threw my mindset for a loop. So I hired somebody else. And when you hire somebody else, again, they can work through the ego, okay? And they can really see things that when we're in a state of stress or we're in a state of overwhelm, someone coming in and guiding you and supporting you that is the right person at that time in that season for you is going to work. So even though I can do my own energy healing work and I can work through all this, I hired somebody. So at the time, she was pulling all of this cortisol, extra cortisol, all from my organs. But what I had also done at the same time is that blood work. And so I do both things medically and Western in certain senses. I do a lot holistically, but in this particular instance, I wanted to have my hormones tested just so I could have that data. Inside of that data, this was June, I took a body intake form, and this body intake form indicated where I was at. And then I also did a blood draw, and my hormones were out of balance. My testosterone in particular was at 15. If you know anything about testosterone, that's really important as you get older, especially when you are in the age of your 40s. Testosterone is incredibly important for women to have, also in maintaining healthy muscle. As we get in our older ages, we need to lift heavy weights and we need to work out because we lose more muscle mass as we age. And again, that's part of keeping us healthy. So in there, my testosterone was low, my hormones were imbalanced, but what the major key was, my adrenals were really taxed. They were under an extreme amount of stress with cortisol. And what happens is we needed to get that under control, because if not, we would have ended up going into a thyroid issue. But my body was signaling it, right? It was giving me the clues. It was saying, hey, there's a threat going on. I'm gonna like send you some messages. If you don't take care of this, this is gonna turn into even worse. So I want you to understand something about the energetic of the way your body sends messages. Your body sends insights. Your body sends, ways for you to kind of discover and know what's going on. And one of my books that I use and guide people through is called The Emotions and Oils. It's kind of the like a cheat guide to what I do. If you don't do energy healing and body code, it helps you to identify if we're getting headaches or we're having inflammation in our body. What is the body telling you? So your body then sends this message, and first it's pretty quiet, might be headaches or it might be fatigue. In my case, it was fatigue. Then all of a sudden it was the extreme weight gain. And that was when it was like, ding, 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 ding. If we don't get this under control, we're going to move into major thyroid issues. So in this intake form, it was really in depth. Now, moving forward, I started working out in October and I started lifting really heavy again. I do something called athlete performance working out. And it's within a group setting. It's with a coach that does more athletic training, and it's called recomposition. And we do a lot of movements where we lift heavy and we lift light but high reps. So recomposition means taking your body at the current state that it's at and putting it through a routine over the month that it helps you to recomposition your body, right? So I was absolutely loving that, and I was so excited. But I got to December and we came home from Mexico and I'm like, I'm still not losing weight. I'm actually a little bit more weight than I was. I was 147.9 in this body intake, and now I'm 151. So what I realized at that time, especially when we were doing energy healing, I wasn't doing enough of the conscious work that my body needed. My body needed me to provide it more supplements to support the organs and the toxicity level. So one of the things I actually did, I have these mason jars all around my house. This one is 40 ounces. I integrated in a gallon of water every single day, and then I integrated some serums and some essential oils internally, celery seed, ginger, cinnamon, also grapefruit. And these oils actually go in and help dissolve the petrochemicals that are surrounding the fat cells, but also detox the organs and provide them the purification and support to rid the toxins from those organs. So I was releasing that, and all of that was coming up in my session, but I wasn't providing my body with the conscious work, like the at-home work that you're supposed to do. So one of the things I want to tell you is, here's the biggest myth. You cannot go to an energy healer. They can take you from the state that you're at and put you in the state that you want to be in by clearing out, and we can work through those imbalances. You will not be able to maintain that state of where you want to be, that body that you want, if you're not doing conscious work at home and creating sustainable habits around that goal. So I want you to understand what that looks like. Is I was working out and I was integrating in this habit, but then I wasn't supporting my body with the water and the nutrition the way that my body needed in order to see that complete change. So when I came home from Mexico, I made sure I got on I dialed it in. You guys, I used MyFitnessPal. I went in and I figured out my macros based on how I wanted to eat. I don't do any intermittent fasting. I do more of like a balanced food, like carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And I put in my goal weight, what I wanted to be by what specific date. So I wanted to be 135 by April 1st. And so then it went in and calculated the amount of like calories I needed and then all the macronutrients for me. So I use that right on my phone. That's a really incredible hack. And what I've learned about myself is when there's too much restriction, it actually puts my body in a state of stress. And that's what was happening before when I was working out and I'm running my business. I was all the structure and all these things that needed to be a certain way. I actually don't operate that way. I operate in more of a non-linear process. Okay, so things actually end up making sense and come together, but I don't go from point A to B to C to D. I go like point A to point like F, and then I backtrack to point B and C, and then I move forward. And sometimes I am a person that looks at the back of the book. So I look at Z, and then sometimes I go back to A, but then I still skip up in some steps. That's why I actually have a really great team of support around me, is because I am known for skipping some steps because of the way I function and process, and they actually help with, so those steps are not like super detrimental, so to speak. Sometimes I have to course correct a little bit more than others, but I've actually learned that that works for me. I still get to where I want to go. If any of you do human design, I'm a manifesting generator. That would probably make sense to you. So not adding in the food meant that that was my next sustainable support that I needed to give my body. So I've been working out for 3 months, and even my husband was like, everything's changing, your body is changing. And I'm like, the scale is not changing. So at the beginning or the middle of this month, I took a new intake form. So I want to let you guys know that in the first intake form in June, I was the exact same weight, 147.9. And some couple things that are really important is my body percent fat was 28.7. And according to this, I would benefit from a decrease of 11 pounds of body fat. It says 11 pounds of body fat and increase of 0.01 pounds of muscle mass. Okay, so that's what it was saying. It also talks about your water. I was actually under. I was not even a normal. Water is so important. Your muscles are made up. Your entire body is made up of water. It's one of the most important sustainable habits that you could put in your life that is so important. So I was under on everything. But the point of this is, in January, I was the exact same weight. In fact, I'm a little bit less now. I'm 2 pounds less than even this date. But here's what it said. I am 147.9. My body fat is now 24.9%. So before it was 28.7. So 4% body fat, almost 4% body fat I've lost just in the matter of, again, I know this was back in June, but I actually weighed more in December than I did in June. So I'm comparing more so the scale, that I'm the exact same weight, but all my body composition has actually changed. Okay, and now it says too that I could benefit from a decrease of 3.7 pounds of body fat, and that I could benefit from 0.1. All of my water levels are now in the normal range. So this is really important again too. And then all of my measurements completely changed. It was so incredible. But the reason why I bring this up is because most of us are conditioned to look at, say, the scale, or look at outside of ourselves. We're conditioned to look at others and how other people look, other body frames, what's put in the media, and what we've been programmed to believe is beautiful, right? And this is really important because this is the energetics of really who you are. Nobody is a guru over you. I promise you that. I'm here to guide you, but as you do more of this work and you really find out what works for you and what rhythm you have within your body, things start to change drastically. So this is, again, it's so important for you to understand that the weight gain for you and I might be completely different. My weight gain was due to toxin level and stress inside of my body that had just gotten so bad. My body blew up in that inflamed state, and it was sending me a message, threat. If you don't do something, there's going to be something even more serious. Okay? Some of you might be dealing with stuffing your emotions or feelings. And some of us might be using food as a way to self-soothe or to bring more sweetness in our life. Others of us might have toxic relationships. And toxic relationships, they do and can cause weight gain, okay, when you're in a toxic relationship, or they can cause issues within your body. Because again, when you're around somebody who's so toxic, maybe it's not weight gain, but all of a sudden you start losing a lot of weight and you start getting really thin because there's so much pressure. Everybody's body's going to actually respond a little bit differently to that state, right? Is some people, when they're under extreme amount of stress, they lose weight. and some people it's the opposite, the gain. So the last thing I want to let you know is this has been really fun for me, because what I feel now is that actually, as I'm working with people and I'm understanding the amount of ways that you want to make an impact in the world, there are going to be different seasons when you can put more into your health, meaning as you might be working out, 2 days a week. Some people do that. You might be working out 4, 5, 6 days a week, and that's working for you. And all of a sudden, like, your body is really in fit and you're really in shape, but there's another area of your life that's really out of balance and needs some care and some support, like maybe at home, or some relationships that need balancing, or it can all depend. Like, we have seasons. And so I want you to know also, with weight and your personal fitness, everything is a season. So there's a way to have really incredible sustainable health as you're growing your business. Look your best, feel your best, but also not have it be every single aspect and every single consuming part of your life. I believe and the reason why I went to the gym was because I'm learning to work out like an athlete. And one of my favorite books, learning how to perform like a high-performing athlete in business, was Robin Sharma's 5 a.m. And I honestly never thought I would be able to do that principle. I had stuck in my mind I would not do that principle. And then also too, like I talked to you before, certain behaviors and too much structure feels constricting to me. Well, this is very structured, but our workout is different every single day. It just repeats. So we get our new workout. All 6 days are scheduled, and they're different things every 6 days. And then we restart the week over, and it starts back on Monday, and that's the same workout. But it changes because we start out really lightweight, getting the movements down. And week 2, we move up in weight. Week 3, we move up in weight. And then week 4, we're doing our max weight that we can do. So you see, even though there's a lot of structure in this, there's also a lot of squiggle, right? There's a lot of, ability to grow. Also, the other thing is the class is the same at 6 a.m. as it is at 8:30 and 10 and 11. So if I'm feeling overwhelmed, and which I was the other day, getting to bed and getting up on time, getting enough sleep to go work out, I was like, hey, it's fine. Don't do this to yourself. Go to the 8:30 class. So I've learned to, as I've been operating in business, is to honor myself. Know that structure is a number one key area for me that causes me to get extremely out of balance and extremely stressed, but also now bring in those tools to support myself. So the scale is lying to you. That's my main key point on you, is don't base things off of the scale, off of programming, off of what your parents think or what your mom thought. I have all these things that my mom thought. My mom doesn't like the fit body. She thinks more of a slender body. That was her generation. So when I get too muscular, she's kind of like, what's going on? Okay. She doesn't like it, and that's her viewpoint, but she's not trying to be mean. I know my mom's not trying to be mean. It's just her perception and viewpoint of what she likes. Unfortunately, fortunately for me, I believe in all body types, but I'm more about how your body performs and how you feel within your body. And I'm more about the energy and how, when you feel good in your body, what it creates in your relationships and your business, and how it attracts the right people. That to me is real beautiful health and fitness, because it attracts. When you feel good, you look good, you're operating good, you will attract more goodness to you. So I will be posting for you guys some of those resources. The serum that I used that helped me to release the toxins, it was a very specific serum. The nutrients, some of the supplements that I used, things that I took internally. My number one favorite thing before I went to bed, this is 2 Copaiba, 1 Adaptive, and a Melissa underneath the tongue. That is my sleep cocktail. And when I don't do that, I don't rest very well. Pretty interesting. And then obviously, of course, water. One of my favorite things is the Ultima. Again, I don't want to bombard you with products or different things, but if that is something that you're interested in, we can link some resources for you in the unit section. So you just have some of those tools and know. And then obviously that book that I was talking about, the 5 a.m. Club, I really love that book. It's powerful, Robin Sharma. It's a really great book. These practices and things that I teach here, the things that I'm talking about, are truly things that I'm integrating in my life. And my most important goal for this page is for you to know that I'm in practice with you. There's things that I've mastered. There's things that I'm incredible at, including the energy work. I've built an incredible 6-figure health business that I'm very proud of. And I'm also in the middle of upgrading and up-leveling that business along with another business. And so in my life, things look a little bit different. And so I tend to know that when I'm going to be doing a little bit more in one area, I decrease another area, but I bring in sustainable resources so that I'm maintaining a beautiful energetic flow within inside that area. Okay. So I'm so excited I was able to get the time to share this today. Drop comments below. If you're on the replay, if you've watched this later on, I'd love to hear more about your journey, the things that you're excited about in business, the things that you're creating, and how I can best support you in the area of health. More specifically, how can I help you within your health and get vibrant, incredible, affluent health while you're rocking your business and growing a family? So thanks for reaching out. We will see you guys next week.